I heard you talking about robot butter trucks here before you talked about Iran. It sounds like the developments overseas aren't changing how you campaign here.
Well, we have to address the real problems on the ground that got Donald Trump elected, including the fact that we blasted away millions of manufacturing jobs right here in towns like this, in Davenport. But the Iran escalation certainly heightens my urgency to get Donald Trump out of the White House. 78% of Americans want nothing to do with a war in Iran. How have we gotten to a point where we're entering a conflict that the American people are completely opposed to? We need to replace Donald Trump with someone who's going to have a much more balanced and restrained approach to foreign policy.
Joe Biden was just here last night. He said we need a president who can, on day one, step into the Oval Office ready for the job and command the respect of other leaders on the world stage. What do you say to a voter who says, I don't know what Andrew Yang's background is, what his ability is to do that?
The next commander-in-chief has to be focused on the biggest threats and challenges of this era, and that includes conflicts like Iran that we should have never come close to in the first place, but it also includes climate change, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and challenges that I believe I'm better equipped to handle than anyone else in the field.
Is Joe Biden's 2002 Iraq war vote still fair game for discussion at this point?
Well, Joe has a very long track record in public life, and that has many positive things, but he definitely should be owning any decisions he made that might now might not reflect as positively.
I want to ask you about something you said the other day. You talked about the way the DNC is involved in this primary and whether they rigged it for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Do you think the DNC is rigging this primary right now?
Well, the DNC now is a completely different set of people than it was during the last race. What happened in the last race has been well documented. I've had very good conversations and I believe good relationships with folks at the DNC. I believe they're trying to set up a balanced field, doing the best they can with a very difficult challenge.
You think Democrats are going to have confidence in the nomination process at the end of the day, especially in such a crowded field? Are they going to be able to unite behind the nominee and believe that the nomination was fought fairly?
I do believe that Democrats are going to coalesce behind the eventual nominee. I plan on being that nominee. One poll showed that 10% of Trump voters in a swing state would choose me over the president, which makes me the strongest candidate to take him on and defeat him later this year. Democrats want someone who can beat Donald Trump, and I am that candidate.
I want to ask you lastly about something we hear actually from voters when they have questions about your freedom dividend. They say, if you give everybody $1,000, how does that just not create inflation, raise the cost of everything across the board? What's your answer to that?
Well, if you look around us, we're experiencing inflation in three core areas: education, healthcare, and housing. These things are not driven by the fact that we have a lot of spending power. Most every consumer product has been staying the same in price. That's clothing, media, electronics, automobiles, most food, everything that has a competitive dynamic market. We have to get housing and education and healthcare costs down, and I have separate plans to do this, but putting money into our hands will not raise prices across most any category.
Are all y'all paying attention? Automation gonna sweep the nation unless we get him in. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend. Climate change is real again. Science rules. Teachers bringing home some bread. Medicare for every citizen. That's nice. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend.